All right, Shalom. What is I'm saying? Call Allah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honor to the Apostle of Israel. Double honor to the Apostle of Israel, aka the Apostle of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim, consider peace of truth and all truth and sincerity. All right, we'll get real quick a trending topic of what happened in the course of last night. There was a shooting, obviously in Buffalo, and it was so-called. There was an Idumean, a so-called Caucasian male. He murdered 10 people of so-called black people. Now, they said that this incident was racially motivated, and that this guy actually wrote. Now, I'm gonna pull up an article as well. This guy actually wrote the word "nigger" on his weapon. He wrote it on his weapon. He wrote it on his weapon. That's what he did. So when you really think about it, it's like, all right, what is the difference of now compared to back then? Let's say in like the 60s, 50s, 40s. What's really the difference? Maybe it doesn't happen as often, but what is really the difference as far as feelings between so-called white people and so-called black people? What's up with this? What's up with this, like, this tiff, this beef, this hatred one has for another? Why so much friction? Why so much tension between these two people? Now remember, it's mad other races. It's mad other races in the world. But these two, why are they always at odds? And the only thing that explains it. Oh, here we go. And the only thing that explains why that is this. The Bible. This is the only thing that explains what's going on between so-called black people and Hispanic people too, Native American people as well, and then so-called white people, Caucasians. Okay? There's always, especially something that's been going on for so long, why do people think it's just how it is? And it's like there's no explanation for it. Like there's a perfectly logical explanation for what's going on right now. And I'm not going to go into that particular reason, but all you got to do is in the story of Jacob and Esau in the chapter Genesis, the 25th chapter, man. But I am going to go into actual Esau and Jacob a little bit, and I'm going to that article regarding that shooting. Because as the title reads, if only he knew. Because he doesn't really understand who he is. He doesn't really know who he is. He doesn't know he's an Edomite. Because through the spirit, he got to be an Edomite for what just transpired. You know what I'm saying? If you had that much hatred in your mind, and you know what I mean? Now, granted, you got the whole Bronx Tale thing where people, a so-called white man that's an Israelite, but was taught to be hated, Edomites around him were racist, and he picked it up, or whatever. But at the end of the day, what you did was, if you are an Edomite, that means you murdered Israel. You murdered 10 Israelites in like a little bit of time. And like you're not gonna get a proper judgment here in America, because if you don't get off scot-free, you're gonna get off with a little bit of jail time, or you might get no jail time and some like probation bullshit, or you might get something, because like it's no way he shouldn't go to according to Esau's law, according to the so-called white man's law in America, it's no way he shouldn't be going to jail for the rest of his life. Because that's just straight murder, man. Homicide. And not even double homicide or whatever. That was a killing spree, man. And that was Israelite blood. Descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, granted, they could have been 2/3, whatever. But what I know is that they were so-called black people, and more than likely were Israelites, man. That's what happened yesterday. It didn't just be a shooting in Buffalo, and he is racially motivated, and that's it. There's a whole explanation why he did that, man. Because he's an Edomite, man. They have a perpetual hatred towards Jacob, who is represented mainly and mostly through the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. That's what happened. Esau hates Jacob. If you go to the book of Genesis, it'll say that. The 25th chapter, 26th chapter, it talks about the story of them. The perpetual hatred that Esau has for Jacob. When you go into the word perpetual, that means non-ending, man. Permanent. Forever. Just like the perpetual hatred that the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, has for you, Esau. He said he hated Esau. Man, we're going to get that. That's one of the scripture I'm going to read. Because, you know, I didn't go into the story of Jacob and Esau, because, you know, for the most part, people in the truth know, but to maybe new people that may be coming into the truth, you know, the story of Jacob and Esau, I'm pretty sure you've heard it, because that's the story, one of the, like, the story that you get right into as far as, you know, in this truth, and in the beginning especially, you get to find out who everybody is, you know, and then, you know, all the stuff that's happened and how it all ties into scriptures. So we're going to go to the book of Romans chapter 9, verse 13. And it says, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated, man. And that's the Lord saying he hates Esau, man. Through the man known as Paul. And it says, this is Romans chapter 9, verse 13. And look, it says, Paul, and in this Bible I have here, it got like captions. At the start of every chapter, it says Paul's burden for Israel, and we're still carrying that burden, man. That burden being under these devils, man. So it is a motherfucker like that could just come in here and kill 10 of our people and nothing happened to him, man. Could you imagine if this is in the time of David? That wouldn't have happened. If this is in the time of Solomon, that wouldn't have happened. All the time when Jacob is going off, when Jacob is going off according to the Lord, that's when we get fucked up by these other nations. That's why we're getting fucked up now. Because those 10 people that were killed, I guarantee you they weren't people in the truth. They could have been some scoffers. It was a judgment received nonetheless from Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. But how the Lord had the judgment carried out is still part of a greater story and a greater reason. This is all part of the same war. The war that actually went on in the womb that's in the book of Genesis. This is part of that same war. And I'm just like a little incident, man. But we've been at war for generations, man, with these people, man. It ain't just starting in America. When they got us in America, this is a continuing story, man. This ain't how it started. It started in the scriptures in the book of Genesis, just like everything else. But you know what's playing out now is all through the scriptures. Okay, so it said, Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. That's enough. That's to you, Esau. To whoever Edomites be like, you high words that be watching videos on some weird shit like, yeah, we talk about you, man, Esau. That's who it's talking about. This is the scripture. We didn't write it. You didn't write it. You didn't plan this. We didn't plan this, man. We all on the same boat. We just in a better favorable side coming, but you was on the side favored now because the Lord had you ruling over his own people, his own chosen people. So you see how it works? He still gave you a piece of it. But now it's time for the downfall. Now it's time for the transition back to how it was initially supposed to be. Before you got that shit off that you did, man. And remember, the Lord waited, man. The Lord had us beating your asses for years after Jacob and Esau, man. You ain't get into power like over us until the Greek Empire, man. That's why you really don't go past the Greek Empire in your movies and your Hollywood, man. You might go, but when you do, you talk as if you're the chosen people. The Jews, the Jewish people, you know, those same Jewish people that are good in a good case now. So what the hell is this place? What the Lord said when Israel was in power and when Israel was back in the land of Israel, the nation shall learn war no more. So that means you can't be those people that the Bible is speaking about. Now reading on, and it's going and as far as that shooting, you gotta remember, we're in a different space right now than in the time of King David. In the time of King David, we was actually ruling over them. We had dominion over the nations, which we're going to get back. That's why the Lord said, "Well, I should build up the tabernacle of David and fill in the breaches thereof." Because right now we've been breached the house of David, but it was our own fault. It was our own fault when we went off. It was our fault. Okay, and this is on from the very beginning, from the time of Egypt, man, all the way up until now. That's what this story is about, man. It ain't just about just random kids just going, "Oh, I hate niggers." No. It's really Esau hating Jacob because of what? The story. And he's playing out just how the Lord said he would. Live by the sword, die by the sword. That's Esau, man. He gonna be his blessing was a sword, but he gonna lose it with the sword. He gonna lose it through the sword. So let him. Yeah, the Lord said, "Wait ye upon." I'm gonna get that too. The Lord said, "Wait ye upon me." So we have to actually wait and see our people being destroyed until the Lord raises up to the prey. Because the Lord said, "Well, our weapons are not carnal." So we can't go against Esau like that. We'll die. And it'd just be nothing. And it'd just be the days, and the prophecy still gonna come to pass, but it's like, you're gonna be a wrap. You're gonna be back in the spirit world. But we're gonna go to the book of 2 Samuel. We're gonna go to the first verse. In the first chapter, the 2 Samuel, the first chapter, but I'm gonna start around the 11th verse because this actual story goes into the time when King Saul was passed on, and this Edomite, which is gonna go into it, said he did it. Matter of fact, hold up. Bear with me. Bear with me. I'm looking for. Oh. Yeah. So yeah, in the time of 2 Samuel, the first chapter, I'm gonna start the 13th verse, and that's the time King Saul, he died. Okay, you know the story how he died, fell upon the sword without spear. But this Amalekite was there, and basically told David, like, yo, I finished the job type. You know what I'm saying? But even all in all, even though he didn't really put Saul down, he really didn't put Saul down. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But it was what he told David, because it's basically, when I'm reading the story, it's basically he's trying to get brownie points for David, from David to saying he did something to Saul. And the story, and basically what he asked the Edomite is what I think about when I hear about shootings like this, and I hear about these racially motivated instances, these Karens and all that. I think about this story because this story is prevalent from slavery to all slavery in the Rome, Greek Empire, even what they did to us in the time of the Babylonian Empire. All this time what Esau was doing, Esau was always trying to fuck us over, man. Every time. And then we act like he's not, he's still trying to, man. Because he really don't have a humble bone. He don't have a righteous spirit. So everything he does is according to unrighteousness, man. He lies. He does all these things with ease. So I'm going to the story in the time when King Saul died, and he's actually an Amalekite that came to David and what he said about Saul. So this is the book of Second Samuel, the first chapter, and I'm gonna start at the third verse, and it's matter of fact, I'm gonna start at the top, and it says, "Now it came to pass after the death of Saul, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Amalekites, and David had abode 2 days in Ziklag. It came even to pass on the third day that, behold, a man came out of the camp from Saul with his clothes rent and earth upon his head. And so it was when he came to David that he fell to the earth and did obeisance. Verse 3, and David said unto him, From whence comest thou? And he said unto him, Out of the camp of Israel am I escaped. And David said unto him, How would the matter? I pray thee tell me. And he answered that the people are fled from the battle, and many of the people also are fallen and dead. And Saul and Jonathan his son are dead also. And David said unto the young man that told him, How knowest thou that Saul and Jonathan his son be dead? And the young man that told him said, As I happened by chance upon Mount Gilboa, behold, Saul leaned upon his spear, and although the chariots and horsemen followed hard after him, and when he looked behind him, he saw me, and called unto me, and I answered, Here I am. And he said unto me, Who art thou? And I answered him, I am an Amalekite. He said unto me again, Stand, I pray thee, upon me, and slay me, for anguish is come upon me, because my life is yet whole in me. So I stood upon him and slew him, because I was sure that he could not live after that he was fallen. And I took the crown that was upon his head and the bracelet that was on his arm, and have brought them hither unto my Lord. Verse 11. And now it says now David mourned Saul, because this Bible has captions for each. It has little inserts of a cap, just a description of what's about to proceed next. So now it says David mourned Saul. That's what it says it's going to proceed talking about. And it says, Then David took hold on his clothes and rent them, and likewise all the men that were with him. So they started to mourn for Saul and Jonathan his son. And they mourned and wept, fasted until even, for Saul and for Jonathan his son, and for the people of the Lord, and for the house of Israel, because they were fallen by the sword. So basically for the bloodshed. So this is what happened yesterday. This is how we feel. Even though, they could have, it's judgment from the Lord 2/3, but at the end of the day, being that it was an Edomite that did it, so it has a deeper meaning, So it says, and now that was the 11th verse and the 12th verse. So now the 13th verse. Remember, I said the precursors of what's about to precede them talking about. Now to the 13th verse, it says, the young man executed. It says the young man executed. It says, and David said unto the young man that told him, Whence art thou? And he answered, I am the son of a stranger, an Amalekite. So right off the rip, David is like, an Amalekite. In the spirit, I'm thinking when someone, if I see an Amalekite, so I'm already looking at him sideways the most ever, on some all right, what bullshit do you have going on? It's not going to be nothing righteous, man. It's not like he said once he saw him, he could see he's an Amalekite or Edomite, whatever. And it's all right, so now you're saying you're an Amalekite, so I know about you, man. But I don't know if that kid was an Amalekite, but he's still an Edomite, man. Edomite, Amalekite, they all under the same house of Esau, man. But anyway, it says the young man executed. Now this is 2 Samuel, the 1st chapter, the 13th verse. It says, and David said unto the young man that told him, Whence art thou? And he answered, I am the son of a stranger, an Amalekite. And David said unto him, How was thou not afraid to stretch forth thine hand to destroy the Lord's anointed? And he's talking about Saul. Now keep in mind, Saul was the king trying to kill David. But that's in-house issues. But you got this Edomite and an Amalekite at that. Talking about, you lay hands on my brother? You lay hands on a Lord's anointed, my brother, Israel, my kinsman? So this devil that killed these 10 Jakes, even no matter what the Jakes were into, you killed 10 Israelites. And you're an Edomite. And that's all that matters. So you can say the whole, I hate it. You can say all of that, man. But that's what happened. That's what happened. And it don't matter how somebody look. Now, it's all a matter of Jacob and Esau, man. So it said, and David said unto him, How wast thou not afraid to stretch forth thine hand to destroy the Lord's anointed? And David called one of the young men and said, Go near and fall upon him. And he smote them that he died, man. So that means he hit. Got it. Young boy to do it. That means he got somebody with younger energy. A young man. That's some king. That's king stuff right there. He said, Hey, youngin. I'm saying in a modern term, hey, come here. Kill him. Take him out. That's what he said. He said, yo, get my young boy to handle this, man. Because at the end of the day, it still was Saul. Even though David treated Saul with the utmost respect, even at a time where he really didn't deserve to get it, but he still did it. But so it's like, probably, never know. We all in the flesh, David, get this young boy to do it, man. I ain't going to waste my energy on somebody for Saul, but off the GP that you killed an Israelite, you would eat him like hell no, nigga. You're not walking away from this conversation. And that's what the Lord, and that's what the Lord had David, who was after his heart, call a young boy over there and say, yo, man, you'll take care of this. And it says, and David said unto him, thy blood be upon thy head, for thy mouth hath testified against thee, saying, I have slain the Lord's anointed. And really, this guy, he really didn't do it. Like, he didn't really, he's not the reason Saul died. He can't, like, it wasn't him. Like, he didn't put in the work, like, he got his hands on Saul. You know? But at the end of the day, like I said, David was an Israelite, Saul was an Israelite. So, like, that's between us. Here it is you of another nation. You're going to come and slay the Lord's anointed. Israelite, they don't really understand the deepness of one of our bloods being shed. They don't understand it. Now, granted, like I said, they could have been 2/3, you know what I'm saying, whatever. But we know, like, they were so-called 10 Negroes. So more likely they were the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This guy went up to, in a supermarket. That's anywhere, everybody has to go to a supermarket. He went to the most randomest place, but he know niggas be at. Like, it said a so-called black neighborhood. This dude had the blickety on him, right there in Buffalo, New York. Right up there in Buffalo. Right up there in Buffalo, man. Shot him, boom, boom, killed 10 people. And they said he was planning it for a whole month. Matter of fact, and you see that I read about David, I forgot, hold up. I have an article about it. It's a little lengthy, but I'm going to read it just because we got time. Now, it says, this is from CBS News. 10 killed in racially motivated mass shooting at Buffalo supermarket, FBI says. This is the FBI report. CBS, that's from the FBI. The FBI said that. Now here it is, right? This dude killed 10 people. He murdered 10 people. It was racially motivated, they said. But yet he just, I don't know if he's like, is still incarcerated. Like, I know you can't get bail on murder anyway, but I don't hear the outcries. I don't hear the outrage. I don't hear people in shambles right now because they don't care about Israelites, man. We're the chosen people of the Most High, man. They love to see the downfall of us, man. Okay, but anyway. From CBS, okay, CBS. Now says, I'm reading this article. 10 people were killed and 3 more were wounded when a man opened fire at a supermarket in Buffalo, New York. Authorities said Saturday. Police said the shooter, who is now in custody, okay, so he's locked up, has been charged with murder and what officials are calling a hate crime in a case of racially motivated violent extremism. There's a time it's actually warranted to say that. He's a terrorist. He went to a supermarket and murdered 10 people. That's a terroristic act. And he put the word extremism. It says this was pure evil, said Erie County Sheriff John Garcia. John Garcia, it could be a northern tribe. This was straight up racially motivated hate crime from somebody outside of our community. So outside of our community, so he could be an Israelite, he could be a Jake, he a cop, but he could, because John Garcia, that's a northern tribe, sounding name, but you know, whatever. But the way he's talking, if this is direct, this is what he actually said. Like, this is like direct quotes. It said, this is pure evil, said Erie County Sheriff John Garcia. So I guess that's where it happened, the county it happened in. This was a straight up, racially motivated hate crime from somebody outside of our community. At approximately 2:30 p.m., an 18-year-old white man exited his vehicle at a Tops Friendly Market. That's funny, Friendly Market. So this dude was 18. That's a college freshman. It says Buffalo Police Commissioner Joseph Gramaglia said at a news conference, the suspect was heavily armed and had a technical helmet and gear. Gramaglia said. Police said he also had a camera and was live streaming the shooting. So this dude had people, he had it streaming so people could see it. And they calling us the terrorists, the violent ones? That's pure. At least when Jake doing it, they doing it for some cause they think is appropriate. You know, all that, you know, gang shit, all that. But he did it based off racially motivated. Because even the gang members, they don't do stuff to people according to race. This dude did it, it was racially motivated. So reading on, so Q might said this dude live streamed, like how I'm live streaming right now, he live streamed the shooting that he did. Oh, he killed 10 people. And he was able to leave alive. Why did the cops kill him? He just murdered 10 people. How come the cops let him live? He's in custody? He's in custody. See? So President Slater hold themselves not guilty. And it's like the cops, they let him get into, so that means he was able to process in the system comfortably. He made it there without a hitch, just like a lot of them did. So reading on, it says the suspect shot 4 people in the parking lot, killing 3. Before entering the store, he said. Once he walked inside, he encountered a beloved retired Buffalo police officer working in the store as a security guard. The guard fired multiple shots that hit the suspect, but they did not affect him due to his tactical gear. So he had it stuff to where like he could protect himself. On some war extremism shit. It said the suspect then killed the guard, who has not been named. So he killed this guy. The suspect eventually returned to the front of the store and encountered police. Gramaglia said he put a gun to his neck when he saw police. But officers talked him into putting it down and surrendering, Gramaglia said. He was then taken into custody. So he put the gun to his neck. Hold up. It says the suspect eventually returned to the front of the store and encountered police. So after he killed the 10 people, it says the officers talked. It says Gramaglia said he put a gun to his neck when he saw police. So as soon as he saw the police, he put the shit to his neck. It says, but officers talked him into putting it down and surrendering, Gramaglia said. He was then taken into custody. Taken into custody? Erie County District Attorney John Flynn said the suspect, Peyton Gendron, has been arraigned on a charge of murder in the first degree, the most severe murder charge under New York law. Okay, whatever. The most severe murder charge under New York law. Gendron pleaded not guilty. He pleaded not guilty. This is CBS. Oh, can you see? Oh, this is it's a real link. Hold up. CBS. So, hold up. Okay, hold up. Okay, so back to what I was reading. It says, has been arraigned. He says the most severe murder charge under New York law. Gendron pleaded not guilty. The charge carries a sentence of life without parole. A felony hearing has been scheduled for May 19th. Attorney General Merrick Garland said federal authorities are investigating the matter as a hate crime and an act of racially motivated violent extremism. The Justice Department is committed to conducting a thorough and expeditious investigation into this shooting and to seeking justice for these innocent victims, Garland said in a statement. Flynn said, this is Esau his technical, political, correct bullshit. Man, he should have been smoked. He put the gun to his neck and they convinced him to drop. What? That's some Hollywood shit. And it says Flynn said Saturday night that his office is now investigating potential terrorism charges and other murder charges at an earlier press conference. Flynn said the suspect who allegedly used an assault weapon in the shooting was not known to law enforcement. Of course he wasn't. They just sprout out of nowhere and become just a serial killer. That's Esau's MO. They all have it in them. Flynn said Gendron came from Conklin, New York. I never heard of that, which is approximately a 3.5-hour drive from Buffalo. So this motherfucker drove 3.5 hours. 3 hours and 30 minutes. So it said in a hate-filled manifesto purportedly written and posted online by Gendron before the attack, he said that he chose the location because it has a high black population and isn't that far away. So that 3.5 hour drive, he said, was close enough to commit mass murder. Stephen Bologna, special agent in charge of the FBI's Buffalo field office, said the case has been considered considered, nigga, it is a hate crime. What are you considering? A hate crime in the case of racially motivated violent extremism. A law enforcement source told CBS News that the suspect allegedly yelled racial slurs during the shooting. A source also said the gunman had a racial slur written on his weapon. That's not racially motivated. It's not terrorism. What do we consider? It is. This is exactly what you say terrorism is. Domestic terrorism. That's what he did. What do you consider? It ain't nothing to consider. It's on. He live streamed it. He had a manifesto that said he hates niggas. It said a 3-hour drive in a high black population, and that's not that far away. That's not extremism, terrorism, all that shit. You had something written on your weapon, and it says, now it says, we will not stop until every lead is investigated, until every piece of evidence is analyzed, and until we understand how and why this horrible tragedy and crime occurred. We know why. It's in the scriptures. Jacob and Esau. Esau hates Jacob. He's seeking to destroy Jacob. He wants to murder Jacob, man. It's part of that war. It's in Esau's mind. But you got niggas out here thinking it's so sweet. It's people that have hateful thoughts in their body because they're Edomites. Not because, they have, it's just that's what's in them. So, we said why this horrible tragedy and crime occurred. Bologna said, noting that the FBI has conducted an investigation that will run parallel to the state probe. Officials said at a press conference that 11 of the 13 victims were African American. 4, including one of the dead, were store employees. So they was at a grocery store at work, and now they dead. They were murdered. And that's why you think people don't want. Why you think people don't want to be out here? Some people are fearing like shit like this happening, and then people not trusting in the Lord, and not people think right, and then people not having the Lord in their mind when they have like this dude doing this, but like people like Jake mentality is like these kind of things just random. It's in the scriptures why he felt that way about black people. They said they were all African American. 11 of the 13. So hold on. It says NAACP President Derek Johnson called the shooting absolutely devastating. Hate and racism have no place in America. What are you talking about? Hate and racism is how America was built. You got NAACP, that's already a red flag. What are you talking about? Have no place in America. That is America. Hate and racism is America. That's what America was funded on. That's what America thrives on. What are you talking about? That's a lie. NAACP President Derek Johnson called the shooting absolutely devastating. Okay, we get that. Hate and racism have no place in America. Are you serious? That's stupid. That's a dumbass statement. It has no place. That's how America was built. How you think the natives got taken down, man? That was hate and racism, man. Why did they did that? Why did he did that? Yes. Why did he did this? This is America, man, and especially at our expense and our lives. This had no place in America. Man, you stupid. It says in a statement, we are shattered, extremely angered, and praying for the victims' families and loved ones, as well as the entire community. President Biden, okay, what did this guy have to say? Because I didn't read this article yet. This is the first time I'm reading the whole thing. I just read a couple paragraphs, so I'm reading the whole thing now. Because it's kind of interesting. It says, President Biden also issued a statement condemning the horrific shooting, writing that the First Lady and I are praying for the victims and their families. And hearts all across this country are with the people of Buffalo. Somebody wrote that. We still need to learn more about the motivation for today's shooting as law enforcement does its work. Bro, The explanation for it is Esau and Jacob and Esau story in the Bible. That's the explanation. But why are they not saying that? Because the media is run by these Zionists. It's run by them. They control the media. The same person that in that story of David, David his son, and no, not David his son, David and Saul's son. That situation in 2 Samuel, the first chapter. That's the explanation. It says, but we don't need anything else to state a clear moral truth. A racially motivated hate crime is abhorrent to the very fabric of this nation. Nigga, what? Who writes these quotes? This is bullshit. This is like that's some real cheesy puffy shit. The fuck out of here. That's not real. You see, that's that PC shit. It says a racially motivated hate crime is abhorrent to this very fabric of this nation. Mr. Biden said any act of domestic terrorism, including an act perpetrated in the name of a repugnant white nationalist ideology, is anti-ethical to everything we stand for in America. Hate must have no safe harbor. We must do everything in our power to end hate-fueled domestic terrorism. How you gonna end that? How? If you just let them walk the streets, they should all be locked up. Every one of them. Since it's so random, since you can't explain it, so why don't you racially profile them like you racially profile us? Reading on. What else is there? New York Governor Kathy Hochul, who is from Buffalo, said the state had offered assistance to local officials and asked people to stay away from the area. Speaking Saturday night, so this is yesterday night, last night, she called the suspect a white supremacist, and said the shooting was an act of terrorism. Hochul also called on social media platforms to be more vigilant in monitoring content. I thought they are, because as soon as you say something on YouTube or all these Facebook, they'd be like, oh, that's hate speech. But yet this dude is live streaming a shooting. You serious? Come on now. It said the fact that this act of barbarism, this execution of innocent human beings, could be live streamed on social media platform and not taken down within a second says to me that there is a responsibility out here, Hochul said. And we're going to continue to work on this and make sure that those who provide these platforms have a moral and ethical, and I hope to have a legal responsibility to ensure that such hate cannot populate these cities, because this is the result. Bro, this is what this country was built on. Yo, I'm getting sick and fucking pissed reading this political correct bullshit, and this bullshit, man. They're trying to all sound so good, but talk so bad. No, man, say some curses. And hold up. Is this the bitch? Yeah, some Edomite woman. Okay, so Hochul said also Friday night that the suspect obtained his weapon legally, but made illegal modifications. Whatever. What the fuck does that mean? Now, the suspect obtained his weapon legally. He obtained the weapon legally, but made illegal modifications. Now, could you go more into that? What illegal modifications did he do? Why don't you just say what he did? Or did you just say that? Who knows? These niggas be lying on the news too, trying to make it still sound sweet because remember, he's one of them. But Reno says police have not released any information about the victims, but New York State Senator Tim Kennedy said one of his staffers' children was shot. So the New York Senator Tim Kennedy said one of his staffers' children was shot. So what you gonna do about it? That means you be having the most action out here. It says tonight a member of my staff, my extended family, is at ECMC when she should be at home. Kennedy said she's sitting in the hospital waiting room because her beautiful, extraordinary son was shot while he was simply doing his job. So he's at work. Just like that judgment, man. That's what his judgment is going out. That's horrific. That is horrific, man. And that could be anybody's fate. We all got to be just around each other. You don't know what is going on through motherfuckers' heads, man. And remember, they have a perpetual hatred. So, like, no matter how nice you are, how cool you are, they'll kill you. They'll take you out. Look what he just did it. He said he live streamed it. 3 hours, 3.5 hours away. 3.5 hours. He went to commit mass murder, man. Now I don't know if his staffer was white or black, because it said 11 of the 13 victims were African American. So the two people could have been Edomites, or it could have been, I don't know. I don't know if the New York Senator has a black, the staffer was black, But either way, since it was somebody that you claim to be your extended family, you should be doing everything within your power to bring this motherfucker down. But are they going to go? This is when you're going to see what this judicial system is really about. This is when you're going to see who is really catered to. This is when you're going to, another time you're going to see, I should say. This is going to be another time you're going to see how the court legal system is supposed to play out for someone is favored to. And if it's not to where he does have to do jail time, it said the charge he got is a life sentence without parole. He got the most severe murder charge. So we'll see how this goes. Because to me, it's like evidence. Like the evidence, he live streamed it. That's all the evidence you need. All you want to talk about the footage is he live streamed it. He wanted everybody to see it. He live streamed it, and he was yelling racial slurs, shooting people, black people, and he drove 3.5 hours away from what town is Castellan? Where the fuck is he from? Yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit. Oh, this was the place where the people were working at. Tops Friendly Market said in a statement that it is shocked and deeply saddened by the shooting. Our top priority remains the health and well-being of our associates and customers, the supermarket said. We appreciate the quick response of local law enforcement and are providing all available resources to assist authorities in the ongoing investigation. The Buffalo incident is the latest high-profile mass shooting motivated by what authorities say is racial hatred. In 2020, the FBI elevated its assessment of the threat posed by racially motivated extremists. And hold up. Okay, the latest instance, they tried to claim, but no, that shooting that happened. Where was that? Dylan Roof. That wasn't that long ago. Now, granted, this is the most recent one, but I think Dylan Roof killed 9 people. This dude killed 13. And they say he got his gun legally. So that means that everybody should get their guns taken away. Even if nobody should have guns. If you really want to stop shit, everybody take away guns. I'm talking about everybody, police, nobody has a gun. If you want to stop gun violence, stop selling guns. Stop making guns. If you want to stop gun violence. Because obviously, we can't have these bad apples spoiling the whole bunch, right? Just stop making guns. Stop selling guns. Stop glorifying guns. Stop putting guns in movies. Put fights. What happened to him selling shit mano a mano? If you had a problem, why did he ask to square up? Because he wanted to use his blessing, which is the sword. He had Edomite. He used his blessing, which is every right to. But at the end of the day, every act has a consequence. And the consequence is that you shed Israelite blood. And they were innocent to you, because they didn't do nothing to you. So, in retrospect, you are very guilty under the law of Yahweh Bashem Shai. And you would have got the same fate that Amalekite got in the book of 2 Samuel, the first chapter. But it said, some white supremacist says, I'll read this last, end off with this. It said the Buffalo incident is the latest high-profile mass shooting motivated by what authorities say is racial hatred. In 2020, the FBI elevated its assessment of the threat posed by racially motivated violent extremists in the U.S. to a national threat priority, on par with the threat level posed to the country by foreign terrorist organizations. FBI Director Christopher Wray told Congress in November 2019 that a majority of such attacks are fueled by some type of white supremacy. No, it's just white supremacy. That's it. So yeah. So this dude, he was not afraid to touch the Lord's anointed, being Israelites, because like I said, they could have that was their judgment still from the Most High. The Lord said, hold up, let's get that. Amos 3 and 6. Because this is a trumpet. Because we have to speak on these. Oh, yeah. We have to speak on these events, man. Because ultimately, the Lord put the spirit. Oh, here we go. The Lord put the spirit on that Edomite to do that. Okay, so like ultimately, like to people that understand why these events happen, why they feel this way about us, because that was directly to so-called black people, directly racially motivated to the hatred of them from him. And the Lord allowed him to take 10 spirits like that, allow that devil to do it. Because what did the Lord say? He said, "What we're giving into the hand of our enemies, man. He's our worst enemy, man." You know what I'm saying? You're like, "Big, my worst enemy." Like Esau is Jacob's worst enemy, and vice versa. We're each other's worst enemies, man. Because the Lord said it. But the thing about it, the Lord set it up for it to be that way. That's what people won't fail to realize. The Lord set it up for people for him to be like that and for us to be like this. The story, man. Well, why don't we never go into that story in the churches, man? Because the way they said it is okay. So if y'all the Jews, right? So who are we in your little story? They just focus on themselves. It's like just they ain't the real ones. They're imposters. But according to the judgment the Lord sent to those are Israelites, but the Lord said what? They that don't trust in the Lord, they're not safe. They don't trust in Yahweh Shemel. They could have trusted in a bunch of other, but they could have been into a bunch of wicked shit. But at the end of the day, it's still Edomite that killed Israelites. So like that's already your violation, my man. But according to both sides of the coin, this is Amos chapter 3, and I'm gonna read verse 6. Now this caption to this chapter says, God has spoken. And it says, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord have not done it? So the Lord brought evil to Buffalo yesterday, man. And this trumpet that he's using for brothers to speak on it is more warning that the Lord's judgment is here. That's the warning. That could have easily been 20 people. Could have easily been 30 people. But he got 10 off. No, excuse me, 13. And they said 11 were so-called African American. And he's in custody right now. Doesn't make sense. But this nigga he put a gun to his own neck. And he said the police convinced him to put the gun down. But when you go to other instances with our people, the police, nigga, don't have a gun. Whatever they yelling, they shoot the motherfucker. This dude went into custody. He had to put a gun to his own neck. The cops said, you might as well do it. Because you might as well do it. But they can't say things like that. He might as well commit suicide. But even whatever judgment he gets on this earth, you still got to deal with the judgment from the Lord, man. Because you get a life in prison, you're going to get a documentary about you, man. You'll get a Netflix special, for sure. And it's going to be talked about. This is going to be talked about forever until the Lord comes back. This is going to be talked about. This is another crazy ass mass shooting, and it was racially motivated. He killed 13 people, 11 Jakes, 11 Israelites, man. And you killed the New York Senator Stafford's family member. We're going to see, man. We're going to see. But at the end of the day, when Hal Shai comes back, that's what we're really going to see. Okay? You think what David had that young boy do to that Amalekite back then was bad? Wait till Hal Shai comes back. And that's to all you people that are against him. You could be Israelites too. If the Lord has an issue with you and he's come back to destroy you, it's going to suffer you. Because them Israelite, more like the Israelites at NAACP. Say you heard that bullshit they said? There's no place for that in America. When America was founded on the hate and racism between white people and black people. So, you know, that's all that bullshit, man. That's why the Lord gonna come in this bullshit. He has to come because it's just gonna be like this forever. Just everybody just being so like, oh, this motherfucker turned up, murdered 10 people, 13 people, and now just, we gotta investigate all the what could be the reason to lead up to this. Nigga, he said it. He said, I don't like black people. I hate black people. I want to kill black people. And I'm gonna drive 3.5 hours away and live stream it, and they're not gonna kill him. They're not gonna kill me. That's how much he knows Israelite blood being shed right now is how much it really doesn't mean nothing. But to the Lord, when the Lord comes back, that's when you have to pay that tab. Just like your ancestors did back in the day. Because it's all, you know, the Lord said, what, nothing new under the sun. So, just like nothing new under the sun, when David had that young boy do that to the Amalekite, that's coming back too. And that's gonna be here to stay. Okay, so with that, you know, hopefully this is edifying. You know, shalom to all the brothers, all the Akim and the convoy. You know, shalom, you know, just stay strong. Just keep Yahweh Shema Shai, just keep that your main focus, man. Your only focus, really. And everything else is just side recreational stuff. But keep this truth, no matter what the situation. And the Lord is gonna hold you down. It might not be as much as something else, but like He's gonna hold you down until you survive Him, until Yahweh Shai comes back. So, you know, with that, you know, and y'all got read the scriptures. The scriptures teach you how to be and what's going to come back for being that way. However way it is, actually, but in a righteous way, it talks about how the Lord gives back to you when you do for Him and you do things according to His will. Simple. So, you know, with that, I'm going to say shalom.